Hello everyone, ARG back already. After a 6+ month hiatus, here I am 2 days in a row. Now, that doesn't mean it's always going to be the case, but it is the case right now. So today we have some more franchise Hockey Manager 9, in which I have already laid out what my challenge was going to be. So I am to try to win the Stanley Cup back to back with the Hartford Whalers starting when they first joined the NHL, and I have to do that before they move to Carolina. So it's gonna be challenging, and on top of that, I have added some more challenges to my challenge, so it's gonna be even more challenging. But anyway, so yesterday, last time out, hey FJ, what's up? So yesterday, when I left off, I was to look at my team and decide on who was going to make the team. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at who actually made the cut. Lots of names I've never heard before. All right, so as I said yesterday, I'm not too worried about my goaltender situation. I have a 3.5 and 3-star goaltender. Typically, that's good enough. I'm not super familiar with Franchise Hockey Manager 9. I'm guessing it is still plenty good enough, but I guess we'll see. Also, as stated yesterday, the big problem is going to be my D. My D is really bad. In fact, out of the 7 defensemen that I have retained, 2 don't even have good stats enough to play in the NHL. That would be Rick Clay, who doesn't have a 10 in nothing, and that would be Martial, who also doesn't have a 10 in anything. So I have 2 defensemen on my lineup that don't quite cut it. So that's going to be a big focus. It is John Garrett. John Garrett is in net for the Whalers. I've also put them on the trading block. We'll see if maybe the computer is going to get fooled by the star rating or something. Probably not, but who knows. Maybe there's a GM out there that's experimenting with meth, so we never know. Up front, all of the players I have retained have at least a 10 in 1 or 2 different areas. That's even for the half-star Bernie Johnston here. So he's a 13 playmaker, so he at least can carry the puck and dish it out and everything. So yeah. But as you can see, my wings are not very strong. Up front, at center, I'm not too bad. Although by the end of this season, I am totally expecting to lose Gordie Howe. Of course, he's 51 fucking years old, and then probably Dave Keon as well. He's 39, so I would think that I'm probably gonna lose him as well. So we'll see at the trade deadline. I'm not expecting to be in a very dangerous playoff position or anything like that, although most of the teams will make the playoffs. So I might try to deal Dave Keon and see if I can salvage something out of that. Yeah, you're right. FG, they're probably all on coke, but I thought that maybe in Hartford, Connecticut, maybe that it's a precursor for meth discovery or something, and maybe there's a lot of experimentation going on. Who knows? I know nothing about that kind of stuff. All right, so now I kept 23 players. I am not super familiar in 1979 how many players I'm going to be allowed to have in the lineup, so I might have to send other players down, and that's okay if I do. But I kept the 23 that we have nowadays. Of course, as we found out yesterday, only 19 can be dressed. Yeah, I thought about it so that he can go and retire a Red Wing. That would be a nice gesture for me. I'll take Steve Yzerman. I don't think Steve Yzerman is there yet, but I'd still take Steve Yzerman regardless. All right, so we're going to go ahead and advance here. The regular season starts in 5 days, and we're starting on the road in October here. We're going to have 4 straight road games. Actually, we're only going to have 2 home games for the entire month of October, so it's going to be maybe a little tough. Oh, there's a bunch of waivers, so I'm going to go ahead and see if I can do some shopping here. Okay, there's a couple 2-star players here. Of course, Antonovich being one of my players. So Antonovich is one of those trap players that I talk about all the time, right? So, you know, he's a 2-star player. You're like, oh, okay, well, 2 stars. He can maybe play on my 4th line and everything. Okay, but yeah, okay, those are the stats or the ratings for American League. In the NHL, he had nothing above a 9. So that's one of those trap players that you have to watch out for. Alright, so I don't think I have a whole lot of players that I can go ahead and get here. I could get Rick Bonus and start to groom him to become my coach. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna grab anybody here. That's sad. All right, let's continue to advance here. Oh, Antonovich was claimed off waivers. Well, goodbye. Who claimed him? The St. Louis Blues claimed Mike Antonovich, so he can go and play there. All right, and we're going to read the 1979 NHL season preview. With the National Hockey League season about to get underway, the early Stanley Cup favorites appear to be Montreal, led by winger Guy Lafleur. General manager Irving Grunman has built a squad that will be the team to beat this year, but he can expect challenges from Bill Torrey's New York Islanders and Atlanta, featuring center Guy Chouinard. Among the dark horses, New York stands out as a possible challenger, with a big season by Ulf Nilsson capable of pushing the team into contender status. The scoring race will likely see Edmonton's Wayne Gretzky challenged by Guy Lafleur of Montreal and Toronto's Darryl Sittler. Top defenseman in the league is generally considered to be New York Islanders blue liners Denis Potvin, with Hartford's Mark Howe and Brad Park of Boston also in the running. Finally, among goaltenders, Chicago's Tony Esposito stands out as the league's best, while Vancouver Canucks netminder Glenn Hanlon and Andy Mio of Edmonton can also steal games for their teams. So yeah, that's something I didn't bring up earlier, but we're going to be building around Mark Howe. Mark Howe should be fairly good for a little while. He starts out as a 5-star defenseman. He's fairly well-rounded defenseman to have. So that's definitely a really good piece we have. And also Mike Rogers should be a fairly decent center for us. I don't know about Blaine Stockton. Like, he has great ratings, but like his stats are really not all that great, so I don't know what's going to happen with him. So yeah, we're gonna kind of see. And then of course I have Dave Keon, but he's old, so who knows. Alright, oh, I never deleted this email here, so now let's go ahead and advance some more. Ugh, my heart's broken. Oh, players need to be assigned numbers. Of course, I don't do that. Alright, so Mike Rogers moves on to have number 17, and then Bernie Johnson moves on to have number 24. Now, I already traded a player that has number 24. If another player gets number 24, I am not forced to trade him. So we're going to go ahead and review the changes. There you go. We're good. Oh, some players here on the waiver wire. Nelson Pyatt, center from Colorado. What do you say? Oof, yeah, you're how old are you? 26? I'm gonna pass. And then Richard Brodeur from the Islanders. Oh, and the season is underway. St. Louis beat Vancouver 5-0 in the season opener for the entire league. Right, Ron Graham has been put on waivers by the Kings after that they claimed Richard Brodeur. A strong game for Pierre Lacroix in Quebec. He had a hat trick against the Flames in a 5-5 tie. Now, keep in mind, back in those days, there weren't any overtime, so yeah. All right, first game of the season for the Hartford Whalers. Season opener is going to be in Minnesota against the North Stars. The North Stars have not played a game so far this season, so it's going to be the first game for each team. We're going to take a look at the North Stars. Now they have some injuries. So Jack Carlson is hurt indefinitely. So is Mike Fiddler, and then Bobby Smith, as we saw, got hurt in the preseason. He's going to miss 3 to 4 months with a torn flexor tendon. That's going to hurt the North Stars a little bit. Bobby Smith is 21, 3.5 star player, so fairly decent. I haven't played in a while. Give me a break. Alright, so in net, they have Gary Edwards and Gilles Meloche. On D, they have Barrett, Kurt Giles, Craig Artsberg, Gary Sargent, Paul Schmier, Greg Smith, and Brad Maxwell. Up front, they have Brassard, Christophe Payne, McCarthy, Neil Broughton, Bill Clement, that they got in a trade during preseason, Mike Eves, Mannery, Polich, Sharpley, Young, McAdam, Youngans, and Zanussi. Lots of players I've never heard about. Alright, so let's get things underway. So hopefully we can win this. Alright, so Mike Rogers is playing on our first line here with Blaine Stockton and Jordy Douglas. And then Keon with Fotiu. Oh, Fotiu's playing as an agitator. I kept him because he's like a 20 and an enforcer and goon. So, I mean, it's 79. You need one of those at the very least. All right. Things are underway. Al Smith is going to be in net for the Whalers for the first game of regular season game of this entire series. Gilles Meloche is going to be in net for the Minnesota North Stars. And of course, go Whalers, go. I might screw up and say go Sens, go a couple times. Don't hold it against me. All right, and we're going to sim this. And we won our first game. We are on to great things, folks. A 5-4 victory on the road. So we're definitely going to take it. We outshot Minnesota 32-27. Fotiu, the enforcer, was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Payne, what's his name? Steve Payne of Minnesota was the second star with 2 goals and an assist. And Mark Al had 2 points, a goal and an assist, and the third star. So we opened up the scoring in the first. That was Mike Rogers from Jim Warner and Al Angsleben. I'm going to massacre that name every single time. Get used to it. Jim Warner from André Lacroix, and then Dave Keon from Nick Fotiu and Mark Howe. It was 3-0 Hartford after 1. And we also had a fight between Greg Smith and Rick Clay. In the second period, Mark Howe scored from Nick Fotiu and Blaine Stockton. It was 4-0 at that point. Then Minnesota scored twice. It was 4-2, but we added one more goal. Blaine Stockton on the power play from Jordy Douglas and Gordy Roberts. It was 5-2 Hartford after 2. Nobody scored, Minnesota scored twice in the third. Made it 5-4, they made it interesting, but they just couldn't tie the game. And we had a 5-4 victory. Alright, so Gordy Howe did not get a point. Alright, so Terry O'Reilly has a memorable game. He had a hat trick against the Winnipeg Jets. Rick Martin has tallied 600 points in his career with a 4 goals and 1 assist performance against the Washington Capitals. A prolific passing night for Danny Gare in that same game. He had a goal and 4 assists, so that was a 10-0 trouncing. That's the last time I saw that was Montreal and Columbus. Rick Martin, as we saw, 4 goals and an assist, and there was a trade between the Maple Leafs and the Blackhawks. Jimmy Jones was traded for Cliff Corral. And there we go. Alright, so we don't play today. We're going to advance, and then I want to check something. Oh, some players on waivers. Gordy Clark, Paul Harrison, and Larry Goodenow. Yeah, Larry Goodenow, you're not good enough. I'm not gonna claim you. All right. Rumor, Colorado Shopping, Dennis Sobchak. And then there was a trade between Toronto and Philadelphia. Ian Turnbull and Paul Harrison go to the Flyers for Mel Bridgman and Gordie Clark. Ian Turnbull, wow. Interesting trade. I think the Flyers at the upper end, but then again, each team like waived one of the players in the trade. Alright, so the thing I wanted to check, kind of curious because I do not know that. I want to see what Gordie Howe did in real life in that season. 41 points in 80 games as a 51-year-old. That's pretty impressive. So we'll see if he does better or worse with me than he did in real life. But 41 points, that's pretty good. Alright, second game of the season is going to be in Pittsburgh against the Penguins. Penguins are 0-1 to start the season. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at their team. They have no injuries. In net, it's Rob Allen and Greg Millen. On D, they have Russ Anderson, Randy Carlyle, Dale Talon, Tom Bladen, Kim Claxon, Mario Fauba, Ron Stackhouse. And then up front they have Jim Hamilton, Mark Johnson, Nick Libet, Russ Lansbury, Gary McAdam, Rod Schutt, George Ferguson, Oris Kindrachuk, Greg Malone, Greg Shepard, Blair Chapman, Pat Hughes, Rick Keogh, and Peter Lee. I think that we can take them. We'll see, but I think we can take the Pittsburgh Penguins. Especially after such a good performance in the first game. Right, so can we make it 2-2 on the road to start the season? That would be pretty interesting. Alright, so John Garrett is going to get the start in net for us, and then Rob Allen is going to get the nod in net for Pittsburgh. And of course, go Whalers go. Oh, that's an ugly game. We lost 6-0. Not a whole lot to look at, so Pittsburgh roughed us up here. Right, so we were outshot 38-24. Schutt was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Peter Lee was the second star with 2 assists. And Claxon was the third star with 2 assists. So not a whole lot to look at. There weren't even any fights. Nothing to look at. Now Nick Fotiu is hurt, which is okay. He's my enforcer. I have another enforcer I can recall. Yeah, I need more grit. Alright, so Nick Fotiu is out for 3 weeks. Alright. He has a strained calf muscle. That's okay. I'm going to go ahead and recall. I think his name is Brubaker. Big game for Brian Propp with the Flyers. He had a goal and 4 assists against the Atlanta Flames. Red light stays on for Clark Gillies. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against the Buffalo Sabres. Good game for Denis Potvin. He had 4 assists in that game. And Lanny McDonald with the Maple Leafs is hurt. He's going to be out 4 weeks with a concussion. I don't think people believed in concussions in 1979, 1980, so... Right, so we're going to go ahead and sit Nick Fotiu. And I'm going to go ahead and recall... I think it's Brubaker, that's my other enforcer. Oh yeah. And Brubaker gets the nod. Since it's my goon that got hurt, I'm gonna recall a similar player. Alright, and we don't have a whole lot of time to, to let that crazy loss sit, because we are playing the Chicago Blackhawks the very next day. Chicago is 2-0 this season, so they are undefeated. Let's take a look at their lineup. Alright, so they have John Marks, that's hurt. He's not going to be playing this game. And they have, Alain Daigle is unfit. Came to training camp with too much weight on. Alright, so in net, Chicago has Tony Esposito and Mike Visor. On D, they have Fox, Logan, Ribble, Wilson, Brown, Bob Murray, and Mike O'Connell. And then up front, they have Bully Kerr. It's Reg Kerr, not Sim Kerr. They have Sutter, which one? Daryl Sutter, Lisak, Stan Mikita. He's 39 years old. He's not going to play for much longer. Ruskowski, Vedic, Bordelot, Deg, Higgins, Mulvey, Preston, Rick Bonus, and Jimmy Jones. All right. Let's see if we can win this one. I'd love to be 500 on the road to start the season. So Mike Rogers has been kind of quiet so far, so I'm expecting a good game from him. Al Smith back in net, so we're going back with the goaltender that won the first game. And Tony Esposito in net for the Blackhawks. Go Waiters! Ouch. We lost 6-2. Now that was to be expected. First season is going to be kind of tough. So... Chicago outshot us 39-24. Bordelot was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Bully was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Logan was the third star with an assist. Chicago opened up the scoring. They scored twice in the first period. Then we had Blaine Stockton score from Rick Clay. It was 2-1 Chicago after 1. Then in the second period, Chicago added 2 more goals. It was 4-1 after 2. Then they scored 2 more goals in the third period. It was 6-1. And then late in the game, Blaine Stockton scored again from Markow and Gordy Roberts. That was a 6-2 affair in Chicago. Means we need to win in Buffalo to redeem this trip to start the season. Rick Clay improves at right defense. Well, good for you, buddy. Oh, we have a few days off here between games. Dynamic passing leads, products of night for Daryl Sittler. He had 4 assists against the Philadelphia Flyers. Good night for René Robert, playing for Colorado. He had a hat-trick against the Jets. Oh, who's on waivers? Kurt Bennett. Not claiming you. Oh, Montreal bought back Bruce Orsh, who was a goaltender, so he is now a free agent. Alright, one more day off and then we're going to be in Buffalo to play the Sabres. Oh, quite a few players on the waivers there. So we have Chuck Arneson, we have Dave Rachowski, Larry Goodenow again, and then Dean Telefus. So we're going to take a look at all those players. No. We already know that Larry Goodenow is not good enough. And no. Alright, we're not claiming any of those guys. Denis Potvin has a day-to-day injury for the Islanders. Nothing to be too worried about. Oh, so there's been a trade. So Larry Goodenow went to the Rangers for Dave Rachowski and John Kogivo. So yeah, that's a very small trade. And then the Rangers waived Larry Goodenow. So that thing is still in the game. I wish it wasn't there. Like, why make a trade if you're going to waive the player right after the trade? Like, it doesn't make sense. That needs out of the game. Come on. Alright, so we are in Buffalo to play the Sabres. Sabres are 2-1 this season. Let's take a look at their lineup. No injuries. We are facing a healthy squad. They have Don Edwards and Bob Sauve in net. Oh, I think we looked at their lineup in preseason. I believe we played them. So yeah, I'm not gonna go through all of that. Alright, now let's see here. Oh, Brubaker is playing, but he's playing as an agitator, so it looks like my coach doesn't want my players to play as enforcers or something. Alright. John Garrett back in it. Looks like we're alternating goaltenders too. So John Garrett in net for us. Don Edwards in net for Buffalo. Come on, let's make it a 500 trip. Go, Whalers, go. Let's go, Hartford. A 3-2 win. All right. So a 3-2 victory over the Buffalo Sabres. So it's a 500 trip. That's kind of what I was hoping for. That's what I got. Hartford, we outshot Buffalo 31-24 in that one. Mike Rogers finally waking up here. He was the first star with 2 goals. McClanahan for Buffalo was the second star with an assist, and Gordy Roberts was the third star with 2 assists. So Buffalo scored first in the first period, and it was 1-0 Buffalo after one. Then they made it 2-0 at the start of the second period, and then we tied the game. Dave Keon scored from Blaine Stockton and Bill Bennett, and then Mike Rogers on the power play from Gordy Roberts and Jordy Douglas tied at 2 after 2. Then in the third period, Mike Rogers scored on the power play from Gordy Roberts and Mark Howe, and that was a game winner. Oh, and it was late in the game too. We almost had a tie, and with 11 seconds to go in the game, we scored on the power play and ran away with the win. All right. Okay, RV Bennett has been put on waivers by Atlanta. He's only a 10 in grinder, and that's it. Not worth it. If he was a defenseman, I would have. And then Dale Talon is suspended in Pittsburgh. He's going to miss 1 game. I debated a long time with the suspensions about should I leave them in there or not. I decided to leave them in there against probably my better judgment. Suspensions in this game just get out of hand, and to a point that it's kind of ridiculous. Alright, let's go ahead and advance 1 day here, and then we're going to have our first home game as an NHL team in Hartford. It's going to be against the LA Kings. Alright, so Fotiu has started skating. Alright, and the Kings come to town with a 3-1 record, so that's pretty decent. Hopefully we can win on our home ice. Alright, let's see here. Oh, I do believe we played the Kings in preseason. Yeah, we did. Alright, so we're not gonna go through that. They have no injuries. So let's see if we can beat the Kings. Yeah, we lost against them in preseason 4-2. They're going to send a Richard Brodeur that they claimed off waivers at the start of the season. We're going to go with John Garrett. Let's go. Waiters. Oh, we lost the home opener 6-3 to the Kings. We dropped it. We were outshot 41-32. Marcel Dion was the first star of the game. He had a hat trick, 3 goals. Dave Taylor was the second star with 3 assists, and Mannery was the third star with 2 assists. 7,627 people in attendance for the very first game as an NHL team for the Hartford Whalers. That's not all that much, I don't think. Right, so we did open up the scoring in that one. Mark Howe scored on a power play from Gordy Roberts and Mike Rogers. It was 1-0, but then the Kings scored twice, and they were up 2-1 after 1. Second period, the Kings scored, made it 3-1, and then Mark Howe scored again from Byron Schutt and Bob Stevenson. It was 3-2 Kings after 2. We had a fight between Rick Hodgson and Brad Selwood. And in the third period, it was a 3-2 Kings game, and then they scored twice, made it 5-2. Then we scored. It was Gordy Roberts on the power play from Mike Rogers and Mark Howe. It was 5-3, but then in an empty net, Marcel Dion scored and sealed the deal. It was a 6-3 loss for the Whalers. And now we dropped to 2-3 on the season. Right, Marcel Dion has a strong game. As we saw, he had a hat trick against us. Good night for Morris Lukowicz. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Minnesota North Stars. And Bobby Guindon has been put on the trade block by the Jets, so he might be traded. Alright, so the Islanders now. We are going to go play against the New York Islanders in Long Island. Islanders are 2-2. We are 2-3, so a little bit of a slow start for the Islanders, although they have a pretty strong team that we're going to look at. Oh, they do have some injuries. So, Mike Bussey is hurt, so obviously that helps us. And Denis Potvin also not going to play. So that's two of their stars that are not in the lineup. I'd like to think that we can, take advantage of that. But maybe we don't. I don't know. All right, so they have Glenn Resch and Billy Smith in net. Langevin, Lewis, Person, Lorimer. That's not Denis Potvin, that's Jean Potvin and Ordy on D. Then up front they have Bourne, Gillies, Owat, Tonnelly, Enning, Kasicki, McGigan, Merrick, Tambellini, Trottier, Chiot. I hate to say Chiot because that's a French word for like going to the bathroom, basically. But I think that's how it would be pronounced, Chiot. Harris, Keller, Nystrom, and Sutter. Yes, FJD Islanders were pretty good. I think it's the next season. I think maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, they had quite a team, so it could be that season. I'm sure you're gonna Google it and let me know. Alright, so in Uniondale to play against the Islanders. Al Smith is going to be in net for us. Glenn Resch in net for the Islanders. Go Hartford, go. Come on. Don't drop 2 games under 500. I need a win here. We lost 4-2. We are now 2-4 on the season. We did outshoot the Islanders 37-30. McGigan was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Markow was the second star despite not getting any points. And Harris was the third star with a goal and an assist. So the Islanders scored first in the first period, and then Greg Carroll scored unassisted. It was tied at 1 after 1. There was a fight between Dave Langevin and Rick Hodgson in the first period. In the second period, the Islanders scored and took a 2-1 lead into the third period, where we tied the game. It was Al Angsleben that tied the game, unassisted as well, and then the Islanders scored 2 goals, and that was a 4-2 loss for us. Alright, got it. So that's the year that the Islanders won the Cup for the first time. All right. Greg Carroll improves at left wing. All right. Now we have a few days off, and then we're going to be in Quebec City to play against the Nordiques. Injury puts Butch Goring on the sidelines. He's going to be out for 4 weeks. Pierre Larouche has a strong game for Montreal. He had a hat trick against the Rangers. Suspension over for Dale Talon back in the lineup in Pittsburgh. Right, Chicago's Fox not suspended. So Greg Fox was looked at and he was not suspended. Fat Hickey extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal and an assist against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Dang, look at the Nordiques. They are 0-1-4 to start the season. Alright, so Nordiques are 0-1-4, as I just said. So chances are we're going to tie against them. Let's take a look at their lineup here. So they do have 1 injury. Alain Cote is hurt. He's not gonna play, out for 1 to 2 weeks. Right, so in net, the Nordiques have Michel Dion and Ron Lowe. On D, they have Farish, Hart, Oganson, Pierre Lacroix, Baxter, Larivière, and Weir. Up front, they have Alain Cote, Michel Goudet. He's 19. Yeah, he should be pretty good for a while. They have Martin Stewart, Tardy, Bernier, Fichtner, Robbie Ftorick, Leduc Stewart, Brackenbury, Real Cloutier, Islap, and Plant. So Real Cloutier should be pretty good as well. Yeah, and he's 23. So the Nordiques have a few interesting pieces for sure. Their D is not all that great, kind of like us, but I think they have a better offense than we do. Let's see what happens here. Gordillo is still pointless, by the way. He's gonna explode with a 7-point performance right here. You heard it here first. All right, John Garrett in net for the Waiters. Michel Dion in net for the Nordiques. Come on, Hartford, go. Hartford, go. Oh, we lost 6-3. No. We gave the Nordiques their first win of the season. A 6-3 loss in Quebec City. Shots were tied 32 apiece. Oganson was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Islop was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Baxter was the third star with an assist. We did open up the scoring in the first. It was Blaine Stockton from Jordy Douglas and Mike Rogers. And then Dave DeBall from Bernie Johnston. And Gordie Howe got his first point. That was a 2-0 lead for the Whalers, but the Nordiques would go ahead and tie the game before the end of the period. It was 2-2 after 1. Then in the second period, Gordie Howe with a goal. Look at that. I did predict 2 points for Gordie Howe in that game. If you heard differently, not my fault. Gordie Howe from Al Sims and Gordy Roberts. It was a 3-2 lead for the Whalers in after 2, but we completely dropped the ball in the third period and we allowed 4 unanswered goals to the Nordiques and we ended up losing 6-3. There was a fight between Wally Weir and Bill Bennett, and yeah. All right, so we had the lead in that one and we kind of dropped it, so that's not good. Oh, no, that's not good. Mark Howe is hurt. So in very good franchise hockey manager fashion, if I pinpoint a player that we are going to try to build around, that guy tends to be plagued with, injuries or the Black Plague itself. 3 weeks. So Mark Howe out for 3 weeks, that's gonna hurt us. We cannot replace Mark Howe. Pat Hickey extends his goal streak to 6 games with a goal and an assist against the Oilers. So I have to take care of that injury situation. Mark Howe, you are going to the injury list, and I am going to recall. It doesn't matter who I recall. They are not going to be NHL competent. So I know my worst one is Ink Pen. I think that he's the worst player I have. Maybe I go with Binax since he's the guy that I traded for. Whew. Yeah, I think so. Like, I have Plum, and you're like, oh, look at that, he has a star and a half, and then you come here, and he's barely making it as an AHLer, so yeah, I'm not recalling him. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to go with Binac. Alright, Binac gets recalled. That's terrible to lose Mark Howe, even if it's only for 3 weeks. Right, we're going to go ahead and advance, and then we're going to play our second and last home game of the month of October. Passes on point for Guy Lafleur in Montreal. He had a 4-assist game against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Phil Esposito has reached 1,500 points in his career with an assist against the Flyers. And Pat Hickey extends his goal streak to 7 games with a goal and 2 assists in that same game. All right. Now we're playing the Islanders. We just played them, so I'm not going to look at their lineup again. They are now 4-2. We are now 2-5. Not doing all that great over here. We are, of course, 0-1. We lost 4-2 in Uniondale earlier this month. Ugh. It hurts to look at my D. B.D. Smith is going to be in net for the Islanders this time, so we might see an outburst of rage. John Garrett is going to be in net for the Whalers. Come on, Whalers, give me something here. Oh, first home win of The inaugural season in the NHL for the Hartford Whalers came against the Islanders, a 5-3 victory. So I was not expecting that, to be very fair. We got outshot 39-30 in that one, so we won without Mark Howe. Mike Rogers was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Clark Gillies was the second star with a goal, and Jeff Brubaker was the third star with an assist. 7,627 people in attendance for this game. Right, so the Islanders opened up the scoring in the first, then we tied the game. It was Bob Stevenson from Gord Bynack that I just recalled, and Mike Rogers. It was tied at 1, then the Islanders scored, made it 2-1. So it looks like my call of recalling Bynack is kind of paying off a little bit somehow. Then there was a fight between Rick Hodgson and Mike Hordy. Then in the second period, Rick Clay tied a game from Jeff Brubaker and André Lacroix. Then Dave Keon from Gordy Roberts and Mike Rogers made it 3-2 Hartford. The Islanders would tie the game, but before the end of the second period, Blaine Stockton scored his 5th of the season from Jordy Douglas and Rick Hodgson. We had a 4-3 lead heading into the third period. Another fight. Al Angsleben and Bob Nystrom fought. Then in the third period, Dave DeBall added a goal in an empty net that was an unassisted endeavor. Another fight between Rick Hodgson and Bob Nystrom, and it's a nice 5-3 victory for the Whalers here. However, Dave DeBall got hurt, so we're going to need to take care of that. And the injuries start piling up. Will Dave Forbes be traded? Right, so the Bruins have put Dave Forbes on the trading block. Right, the ball, how long are you hurt for? 1 to 2 weeks. All right. Now I have a few forwards that are NHL capable in the AHL as opposed to the DD is terrible. Now I don't remember who they are. I think Savard is one of them. No. Oh, She was one of them, I think. Yeah. Right, we're gonna recall She. Alright, so we recalled She. Alright, we have a day off, and then we're back on the road again, where we're going to play against the Rangers and the Leafs. Oh, it's going to be a back-to-back against the Leafs. Oh, I get Bob Nystrom got fired up in his game against us with all the fights that he had. He had a hat-trick the very next day against the Blackhawks in a 5-3 win. Excellent passing leads, the product of night for John Tonelli in that same game. He had a goal and 4 assists. And Rick Sealing extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal against the Nordiques. Alright, Rangers are 6-2, so of course they still play at Madison Square Garden. What do they have here? Alright, so they have Mike McEwen, that's hurt, he's not gonna play. And then they have Ron Duguay, that's hurt, he may or may not play. In net they have John Davidson and Doug Sotart, Ron Greshner, Don Maloney, Carol Vadney, Laidlaw, Guevramon, Mario Marois on D, Beaton Hickey, LaRose, Maloney, Vickers, Duguay, Esposito, Ulf Nilsson, Kachuk, DeBlois, Edberg, Metter, Murdoch, Johnstone, and Silk are up front. They have a pretty decent team. Dang. Yep, they do have a pretty nice team. Alright, so can we win on the road here? No, that's a different appellation. Now there was a player named Daniel, I think Daniel Kachuk, that was spelled like that. He might be related to him. I'm not looking at the right team. Dummy. Let's take a look. Maybe they're gonna see here. No, they don't see an ear. All right, let's see if we can win this. Oh, Tim Shee got recalled and he's gonna play, so good for him. John Garrett is gonna be in net for the Whalers. John Davidson in net for the Rangers. Can we make it two wins in a row against New York teams? Come on. Oh, a 5-1 victory at Madison Square Garden. The Whalers without complex here. It is a 5-1 win in a tough building to win in against a pretty good team. Look at the Whalers here. Shots were tied 28 apiece. Gordy Roberts was the first star of the game. He had an assist. Jeff Brubaker was the second star with a goal and an assist. Dave Keon was the third star with a goal and an assist. Rangers scored first in the first period, and then Jeff Brubaker scored from André Lacroix. It was tied at 1 after 1. There was a fight between Carol Vadnet and Jeff Brubaker as well in the first period. In the second period, it was all Whalers. We scored 4 unanswered goals. Dave Keon from Bill Bennett and Jim Warner, then André Lacroix from Bill Bennett and Gordy Roberts, Greg Carroll from Jeff Brubaker and Blaine Stockton, then Jordy Douglas from Dave Keon and Rick Hodgson. It was a 5-1 game. After 2, nobody scored in the third. 5-1 is your final score at Madison Square Garden, and everybody's really happy, mostly me. 5-1 victory. Oh, one of my players had a Gordie Howe hat trick. I got an achievement. I think it's fitting that I got a Gordie Howe hat trick while Gordie Howe is on my team, and that it's not Gordie Howe that got it. Oh, that's not good. We won, but at what cost? We lost Mike Rogers with a broken pelvis. That's not going to be a 1-week injury here. He's out for 3 months. Oh, dear God. So the hockey gods hate us. They hate me. This game hates me. It hates me every year. There's all the evidence and all the videos that I have ever recorded. Alright, so we just lost our best centerman for 3 months. Oh, it's gonna be tough. Yeah, who do I recall? Larry Plow is not good enough. Nakbar is not good enough. Oh, I think Ray Allison was, yeah. I think Ray Allison maybe. Dave Given. Oh no, he can't even make it in the AHL. Dear God. Brian Hill, nope. Neufeld, yeah, we're gonna get Neufeld up. Things are getting rough a little bit here. Gilbert Perrault extends his goal streak to 5 games. He had 2 goals and 2 assists against Colorado. Prolific passing night for Dale McCourt. He had 4 assists against the Flyers. Blaine Stockton is injured day to day. That's fine. And then a trade proposal from the St. Louis Blues. Oh, they want to trade me Don Kozak back for Rick Clay. No, I traded Don Kozak to you for a reason. First of all, he was wearing number 24. Second of all, he can't play. No, reject trade. Go away. Right, we have a couple days off, and then we're going to play our last game of October on Halloween night in Toronto. Okay, I'm not going to make any changes for now. Alright, Bill Deneen and his yeah, look, there's nothing in free agency. If I improve my team, it's gonna be through before the draft, it's gonna be through trading. I'm gonna need to be crafty. Alright, so yeah, alright, so Stockton is not gonna be playing, so yeah, that's gonna be rough, man. That's gonna be rough. Like, the 2/3 of my first line is gone. My first defenseman is gone. my hope, my dreams, all gone. Oh, all right. We're playing in Toronto. The Leafs have a pretty good start to the season. They are 7-2. Oh, they have some injuries though. All right, so John Anderson not playing, he's hurt. Daryl Sittler not playing, he's hurt. And Lanny McDonald not playing, he's hurt. Alright, so they have Palmatier and Sura in net. Hutchinson, Kenville, Bourrier, Salming, Burrows, Mags, Wilson on D. Markup, Thomas Williams, Boudreau, Boutet, Gardner, McKickney, Bridgman, Laurie Boschman, Butler, Ellis, and Corral up front. Alright, well, they are decimated by injuries as well, so made a less limpy team win. Al Smith in net for the Waiters, Mike Palmatier in net for Toronto. Go, Waiters, go! With a win, we can actually be 500 for the month. And it's a tie. I guess I'll take it. 2-2 tie in Toronto against the Leafs. So, oh yeah, we were outshot badly, 43-25 in that one. McKickney was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Jordy Douglas was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Butler was the third star with an assist. Nobody scored in the first, then Toronto scored twice in the second period, and then Gordy Roberts scored on the power play from André Lacroix and Jordy Douglas. It was 2-1 Toronto after 2. There was a fight between Laurie Boschman and Rick Hodgson. Then in the third period, Jordy Douglas scored on the power play unassisted. It was tied at 2. That score held, so we had a tie. Oh, quite a few news here. Gilbert Perreault extends his goal streak to 6 games with 2 goals and 2 assists against the Chicago Blackhawks. Pittsburgh's Tom Bladen is suspended. He's going to miss 4 games. Nick Fotiu is getting better. Development report. Steve Valley. Okay. At 51 years old, Gordie Howe lost some acceleration. Oof, so many of my players lost like stuff. That's not good. Mark Renault might be able to play in the NHL now. That's a good news. I think that one of those points gave him just enough bump to be a two-way defenseman that can play. Strongmont Yields Award for Sabres, Gilbert Perreault. So Denis Aaron and Gilbert Perreault are the players of the month in the NHL for the month of October. All right, so in October we went 4-5-1. I'll be honest, that's maybe even a little bit better than what I expected. The thing is that we have a lot of injuries, and I think I'm gonna change the view here. I'm gonna find where it's at, and I'm gonna change that here so that I don't look at tasks and we can look at injuries or something more interesting in here. If we can change that, right? Surely we can. I hope we can. I don't like this. I'll take a look at that offline though. So we're 7th in the Wales Conference. We have 9 points. We're still better than Minnesota, Pittsburgh, and Detroit. So that's something. We have a lot of injuries. That's not good. Fotiu is going to be the first one to come back, and then Dave the Ball, Markow, and then Mike Rogers is not going to be back for a while. All right, so let's see here. Stats-wise, yeah, I mean, Gordy Roberts is a point per game as a defenseman. That's always really good. And then Blaine Stockton had 8 points in 9 games before being hurt. And then we don't really have a whole lot of offense. Gordie Howe has 2 points in 10 games. We shouldn't be expecting all that much from Gordie Howe. He is 51 years old after all. When's his birthday? March 31st. He's gonna turn 52 during the season. Alright, so that's pretty much what it looks like here. I know, he's 51, man, and he's still playing. That's pretty crazy. Can you imagine? Like, I mean, people make a huge deal of Jaromir Jagr and everything because he played as a 50-year-old, but he went and played in Czech Republic, not in the NHL. So, I'm gonna go ahead and save here. So throughout the first season, I'm gonna look for deals on defensemen mostly, maybe some scoring, but scoring is gonna be expensive. I don't want to waste my draft picks. Yeah, that would be nice for Jagr to come back to the NHL, but I don't think it's gonna happen. So maybe a little bit of an upgrade on D would be nice, like a player that can be there for a few years and help us build something. But it's gonna be tough. There's a lot of really good teams around us. Yeah, like you mean like the Montreal Canadiens? Alright, I think I'm gonna go ahead and stop here for today. So next time out we're gonna have the month of November. It's gonna be a longer stream. There's more games, there's gonna be more things happening, but for now I kind of have to stop and start looking at making dinner and everything. Hey, thanks for being there, FJ, as usual. Tomorrow I am not planning to stream at all, and then I'm planning to stream either Thursday or Friday, so be on the lookout for some more Hartford Whalers action. So thank you for being here, thank you for sticking with the ARG despite him being gone for so long. And if you're catching this on YouTube and that you like the video, of course feel free to like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And until next time, you have a good one. See ya.